Fratelli the Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. Fratelli the Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast.
E benvenuti. Welcome everyone in a new episode of Fratelli di Rugby Podcast, the Italian Rugby Podcast. Tonight we are here, me and Mike. Mike, ciao.
Ciao. How are you?
As usual, all good. Everything is fantastic, even if it's Monday, but it's nice because we're talking about rugby. And tonight the topic is going to be, of course, the URC finals. We're going to talk also about the Italian market. There are some moves between Serie A Elite and franchise, new coaches too. And but we should start with the first point of the night, Mike. What do you think of this idea to bring the best 300 players into a new league? Let's start straight to the point.
Oof. I don't know. Some people obviously quite upset by this, so I'm going to have to sort of be quite to the point with this. I think there's I understand why they're looking to do it. I think there's probably some areas of rugby that could be improved. I think certainly sort of the whole live golf money coming in type idea where, you know, potentially like a Saudi backer or something like that. I can understand why there's attraction there. But it seems like it was something just, you know, a few people walked into a pub that had one too many Guinness and they're like, this is a great idea. It doesn't seem too thought out, if that makes sense.
I want to play DuPont for my team.
Yeah. It's great. It's great if your team's included. But it just seems like it was, it doesn't seem too well thought out in my opinion. I'd love to see sort of, you know, the actual ideas and plans, maybe not presented by someone like Tyndall, but it seems like, to me, it's just there's too many flaws, and they're gonna struggle with engagement, in my opinion. What are your thoughts?
I was going to ask you about engagement and how you think. Of course, money, pecunia non olet, right? Money don't stinks. Money out money, and they move everything. But what about the passion? Because rugby has a huge tradition, and the passion probably is something more than the money they go through rugby. You know, when we think about soccer, football, whatever, we think about also the money. Honestly, when I think about rugby, I think about passion more than how much money they move. Maybe if I think about top 14, top 14, I think, okay, also look that entertainment there. But how a team also a new player, a new fan can be attracted for something that doesn't have a story behind. So a young player is gonna, okay, who's DuPont? Okay, who's Tamac? Oh my God, only French players. I'm saying Savea, Ioane, Matera, Gallo, Menoncello, etc. Right? Like for him, maybe they can be whatever because there's not all the story behind.
Yeah, I think the issue, and this is an issue, is that rugby is becoming more and more a sport that is interested by aging generations. So like in the UK, it's the fourth apparently most participated sport, but it's like the 24th most watched sport with people who are under 25. So for the longevity of the game, I understand that they need to try and find a way of marketing stuff better. And I think actually sevens, if you go to a sevens game at Twickenham, 9 times out of 10, the people under 30 dressed up in, you know, whatever, and like that's a way of bringing down sort of the average age. But I understand that that's an issue. I don't think a new league is the solution, though, if you know what I mean. I think the solution there is to try and maybe market the game better. I do love the idea of maybe Americanizing it a little bit. You know, like I went to I went to America to watch Italy Ireland in 2018 in Chicago, and they had like the tailgates and like it was just the whole, it was the whole thing, right?
Okay.
And that's something that I think, maybe not to that extent, but it would have been fun to see like that sort of seep into the system.
Oh, that's true. But what do you think, like, about when there was that idea of the rugby 12? That for me is a good format in general if you want to play like also play 13, play 12, play 10, because
Yeah.
the idea about how a player can develop some skills, and I like that idea because 7 is nice. Maybe a few players more on the field can be much more interesting because you can have a little bit more of, let's say, structure and art to pass through defense because you don't have all the space. We know 7 is
Yeah.
important, Olympic and everything, but still, probably some hybrid would be good. But maybe we should just stick with the Union 7 and Rugby League for the one that loves Rugby League, which is not bad at all.
Yeah. No, I agree. One thing I'll say is also, this is just a general trend post lockdown, right, across the board. Participation levels are down, so I understand why people are like, oh, maybe looking at a 12 or looking at a 10 or whatever, because there's less players.
Numbers, yes.
Right. So to sustain, for clubs to sustain actually what they want to do, I get why people are looking at it. But to be honest with you, it's one of those where, like you said, Otto, the game is in a good place as a spectacle. It's just, how do we get more eyeballs on the game? How do we improve that side? Because let's be honest, watching France play, like you said, and I know we're going to France, but watching South Africa play or watching the Southern Hemisphere teams, play, like, the standard of rugby has never been better. Like, no matter what the old people say or the people who've been fans, for years of old, rugby as it stands has never been better. And I don't care what anyone says, you put them up against like a South Africa now against, a team of the past, where they've just turned into a professional team, they're going to get blown away. Yes. Now rugby is probably at sort of one of its peaks, and we should be capitalizing it, and we're not. That's the problem for me, Otto.
Probably we should also stop changing laws too, so modifying, adding,
making it more confusing. Hey,
let's get two years with nothing. Let's go at least 1 year, 1 year and a half without any change, and see how it goes too. Because that is so it's interesting to understand where we're going, how this approaching attack is changing, how the defense are getting set differently, how the players are evolving into every position, because there is also this big huge change into.
I actually had a bit of a idea. So for the age grade, to get more young people involved, if anyone's listening and they're dab hand with AI, just get like a get a thing where someone can run a clip through like this AI, and the AI tells you which law it applies to, because that's Otto, you hitting the nail on the head. How are kids who are 10, 11, 12 years old and they didn't have a parent or a brother or a sister who's explaining them the rules, like how are they meant to follow the game? Just get something that pops up in real time. This is the law, this is why. Like, just there we go, guys. That's the idea that you need.
And we need more games about rugby. Well done. That helps a lot. Streamer, something that came closer, because if we think about like all the situation with Twitch, that they almost gone, Kick, all these other platforms where that you have the influencer, the young influencer and stuff. So you should push it more and more, but not our help.
One of the pros for the
young generation too, because they have more areas where they can be. There's gonna be an input about rugby, like
well, for sure. I haven't watched the F1 in years, and I watched it last weekend. I was like, oh, Kick have a team now. Like, so they're finding ways of diversifying and getting people interested in sports, right? Pre-Drive to Survive, I think again the average age the average age dropped by like 12, 13 years. Like they got more people, and that's what we need. And unfortunately, like the Netflix stuff didn't quite get there, but that's what we need, Otto. That's what we need
We
to
need
be.
that and results with the national team, women's team under 20. But the results look seen. That's what's happening with the tennis for us. But talking about games, sadly, the Italian franchise are out of this beautiful URC semi-finals, Mike. So let's dig into that, and let's start with the Dublin game because it's going to be also the home of the final. The final will be played in Dublin, and Leinster Glasgow Warriors. Mike, I'm a little bit upset because I was expecting much more heat from the forwards of Glasgow. Franco Smith forwards, probably they left a little bit too much on the field maybe the week after. They were confident in a different way, but I saw really good Tom Jordan and Tuivulotu. They play really well, but then they struggle. Pressure by Leinster in general.
Yeah, Carl Rowe as well was brilliant. Otto, like I was surprised, like you said, and Glasgow normally have that, or over the past sort of 2 seasons since Franco took over, they've had that tough, rugged side, and they've been a team that's been really hard to beat. But like you said, I think they showed their belly quite quickly. Last week, they sort of rolled over a bit. I know things weren't going their way. I don't know. I said to you, and again, this is purely speculative, but I said to you a few weeks back when things weren't going their way, if it was something where potentially they were in a position where they've heard their coach is about to leave, and you struggle to get up for games and play for a coach that you think isn't going to be there in the next few weeks. I don't know. I don't know. But I think it was a bit of a shock, to be honest. And obviously disappointed for the Glasgow fans. As a neutral, I'm a bit disappointed, but elated for the Leinster fans because they're in the final. And realistically, when we move on to the next team that we talk about in a few minutes, there's only a couple of teams that can beat them, and Leinster are definitely one of them.
Literally, what said? Who was it, 2 weeks ago? No, it was in March when Franco Smith was speaking about Leinster saying one of the best team in the world and stuff. Like, he showed respect, but sadly, they didn't push enough because the individual skills are there, but the fight in the breakdown stop a lot of the flow of attack for Glasgow, and wasn't the best week for Hastings too. This was a no week for him, and I know really well when he's playing fantastic rugby and when he's not playing, because we saw both at Gloucester.
Yeah, he struggled massively. Just because it's a point of discussion at the moment, I want to hear your opinion on something, Otto. So I believe like the attendance figures showed that it was like 16,000, and obviously there's been a lot of banter flying around about Leinster struggling to fill the Aviva. What your thoughts on that? Like, just being a neutral objective, like, is it acceptable at a semi-final to have 16,000 fans? What are your thoughts?
Now, obviously, you want to see a full stadium. You want a lot of money from those tickets, and how many people were? How many spectators were there, Mike?
I think 16,000, give or take. Apparently, like plus or minus, roundabout that. But
if you think for us, Italy, like, it's already still it's something unbelievable. If we can fill a stadium with 16,000 people, right?
Right.
But,
yeah. It's all about opinion, isn't it?
yeah, the point of view, because for us it's fantastic, but for somebody from Dublin will say no, actually it should be different. From somebody from Master is going to be like disgusting, look, they not fill the stadium, etc. So depending by the areas, and that is
Yeah,
something that
yeah.
for us is I mean, it's peculiar. I don't know what maybe the point of view of a South African is in this
Yeah, yeah.
because
I think we might have a couple in the chat. So,
I think maybe
lads, what are your
Tyrone, I
thoughts?
think, because it's interesting to understand also their point of view, because it's happening so many times in South Africa, right?
Right.
It's a
Right.
different season and everything. Now you see much more people, but still 16,000 from let's sum everything in saying probably should be at least 20,000 in a game like that, because it's a final in a semi-final, and it's something that is missing, and it only you cannot be posh about this. You have just to
Yeah.
get the trophy if you can. The history was yesterday, but the history will be next weekend for them
Yeah.
to change.
And this sort of follows on to the next question. Do you think rugby, and this is a general question, this isn't specific about Leinster or whatever, do you think rugby is starting to price out families? And what do you think the effects of that are going to be long term? Because I can tell you for a fact, in England, 100%, like, I love my son so much. He's gotten into rugby. I'm not spending £110 to buy a ticket at Twickenham for my kid, you know, with the utmost respect, right? Like, so it's one of those where, for me, in England, 100%. Do you think it's starting to seep out slightly further abroad?
How much you should a family pay for 3 people to go to the stadium?
I
Three, let's say
personally,
3, because I'm saying dad, son, or daughter, and the grandpa, maybe.
right, for me,
Or the mom or whatever, but like how many? Like 2 adults and 1 child. Okay.
yeah, for me, I think this is a genuine, like,
From a dad
thing.
perspective, of course.
I think kids if we want to improve the game, improve viewership, and make like the next generation excited about rugby, for me, under fives go free. Nothing. Under fives go free.
Of course, yes.
10 under 10s where they're starting to understand the game, they're trying to learn the game. £5, £10, fine. 20, like, that's how it should be for me.
15
But
to 10 pounds.
perfect. And I know in Italy they're quite good with that because obviously it's only until recently we've been starting to sell out the stadium, but they've been very good with kids and stuff, right? So it's one of those.
Also, for example, Mike, how does it work usually? Teams goes for free to the stadium to watch the national team.
Or in England?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
No. So the way it works is
to pay like €15 with the club discount and stuff.
That's how it works as well. So that, like, each club will get allocated a certain amount of tickets, and then, you know, so basically they get given. See, this is interesting what the boys are putting in now. So for you guys who are listening, French teams do not have the same issue. You can get tickets for €10 and sometimes less for a top 14 match. Josh, is that for kids or is that just in general? Let me know when you see that.
Let's see, in South Africa, around 6. Like, this is fair for me. €25, I can go pay €25 happily. So,
and that's where you see all the kids, though. Like in South Africa, they have like the kids' entertainment, like they have the slides, they have like the swimming pool and all of this.
Yes,
that is how it should work. And I know France is the same, but that's how it should work, right? That's how you get the next generation excited about rugby.
You think it's gonna be full the stadium next weekend?
I mean, I should hope so. I should hope so, right?
You never know what can happen, but yes, sure, I think so. The economy is in a very different state, but let's see if the French economy is a lot stronger. That's true too. Absolutely. But still, they were able to put a really loud fans also in the South African match between Bulls and Sharks. But just to stay in Dublin again, you're man of the match in this game. Who was really good?
I thought
I'm gonna
I
throw
thought
down
it's
names.
going to be easy to say Osborne, right? I thought he was
Okay.
and he's been underappreciated the whole season, and he's shining at the right times. But yeah, yeah. I mean, he's standout for me. It has to be him. I mean, who do you think?
Well, of course, with the two tries, but if I think in general, other players that they were really good, I mean, of course, Gibson Park is still
Yeah, actually, good shout.
blazing.
Lowe had a good game as well.
Low, a good game.
Yeah,
Even Barrett, if we think about what he
yeah,
had to do. Bayard, maybe him is another one that I like this game, the way he
yeah.
play.
He's
I
brilliant.
like him as a player. So
Yeah.
maybe there is a little bit of that. But of
I also
course,
like Keller off the
and
off the bench. Oh,
Sheehan strong, Keller
sorry, yeah,
strong too.
Keller's.
So
Yeah, yeah,
they went
yeah. Both.
really, really good.
Yeah,
We chat about Prendergast last weekend. Let's
yeah,
bring back this the conversation about like in this game. Have you
yeah.
seen him playing? A couple of
Well,
times to Ipoloto
yeah.
runs, but that's
I
the risk that you have to take, I guess.
For sure. That's the only way he's going to improve as well, though. He needs someone like Tuipulotu taking that. So again, I think it's a trend, right? Offensively, good. Like his vision is brilliant. The way he sees the game is great. Physically, he's not there. But that's that he'll
Work.
mature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still there.
Um,
Nice.
one stat I did see, and actually I know your stat man, right? So I'm going to
Oh,
double check.
let's
Someone
see if I
said,
have stuff.
oh, someone said he didn't complete a tackle in the entire game. Is that true?
No, it's not true. And you can go
Okay.
watch every take all he did on my YouTube channel.
You've done it.
I did. No, seriously. If you see somebody say, no, look the video. I didn't
Yeah.
cut anything out. It's everything.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So how many tackles? Give me a
He
ballpark figure. More than
can
5?
tell you he tackled one in the opposite 22, for example. I remember clearly that one. Yes, so he did it.
So at least one.
Yes. At least one. At least one.
At least one. Perfect.
Yeah, you can see that. Leinster, how they probably will have 4 players back next weekend. Furlong, of course, Ringrose, maybe, and Keenan too is another one. So I'm wondering how is gonna be ready this team to play against the Bulls next week. How you think? How much they're gonna change? Is it Barrett gonna play 12 this game, or is it gonna be a number 22?
Mate, if he doesn't play this week, why the fuck did they? Like, if he's not gonna play this week, why did they bother
80
like
minutes.
paying the big bucks
Totally.
for him? Like,
So
I mean,
RC Snyman starting or bench?
start.
Start
Mate,
him
starting,
and
for sure.
Slimani, and Slimani from the bench.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Then,
sure.
of course, if Kian is back there, if not, the O'Brien. O'Brien actually played really well for me on the wing.
He did,
As always, mad. This angry
He's so
face,
fast
I
as well, isn't he?
love it. Yes.
Gas.
Let's see. He has to start from South Africa. They're saying that he has to start. Of course, he has to start. The Viking Ragnar. Let's go. Let's talk about the carnage, the butchery of the Bulls with the Sharks, because it was Mike. They're at this point. They look so good and so strong. These South African players. Honestly, we'll call Mike. We'll call on chair. On Ox was crazy the way he played.
Yeah. Otto, like there was no weakness to the game. Like there was defensively, they were outstanding.
And they were without three sin bin, 3 yellow card, 2 together and 1 less. Which is even more.
They were winning collisions every time they were carrying. Mate, like their gain line success must have been insane against the Sharks. by the way, guys.
Yes.
Again, like,
With a lot of other good players in it. Yeah,
right.
Van Erden and Nortje, he plays 7 this week, which is crazy, right? Look how
Mate.
easy for him to play there with Kotsi.
Just transition, easy. But they just like I'm for example, Esterhazen. Like when have you seen him getting smashed like he did? Like he just got beaten around the park. Mate, I'm so impressed. Like genuinely, I know they had that level of performance because actually after they beat Benetton like 5-6 weeks ago, I was like, oh shit, Benetton are playing well, and they got
Those
beaten
points
bad
on the shoulders. Yeah.
Right. I was like, oh, okay, so they have that sort of performance, but at home, like they're just a different beast. And it was like the atmosphere. Do I want to talk? We were speaking about France earlier. Like, if you could bottle that atmosphere, man, like that was just amazing. Like, just again, like kids everywhere. Like it was just like a festival. It felt like a festival.
A lot of flags.
Oh man, like just amazing, just amazing. If only like, yeah, you know, it's like that with traveling, and that's the next step. It's going to be interesting to see that now. How's that going to be?
And it's so interesting this game how it's coming, because Leinster lost the last 3 semi-finals and they were able to finally to reach again, and Bulls last year against the Glasgow Warriors, and in the first against the Stormers in the South African final of 3 years ago. So when you see all this kind of people that believe in what they're doing with the coach, and they're trying to deliver the performance in a way that also the national team, the national coach can tell, okay, you're working on the right way. It's really good to see, because at the end this was like a pre-call. We know already the team was the same team, the one called by Rassi from March, more or less the same team. But you prove a point with some of these players, like some players look really ready to play the next 3 weeks straight, no problem. And then other one, maybe they need a little bit more time. So also 55 players, and in these two teams you have so many called up, like Anikum, the injury, but he was playing in a fantastic way, just pushing away defenders, which is crazy. Now when you are 21, now
Mate, animal. Yeah, like I wish I could have more analysis than just utter shock and awe of how good Bulls were, and I don't think Sharks were terrible. That's the thing. Like, if, for example, if we were talking about Glasgow last week,
Mike. Okay, no, sorry. Go ahead.
Just if we're talking about Glasgow last week, we both said it's hard to sort of see where they're at because the standard of the opposition was so poor.
Yes,
we know where the Sharks are more or less. Maybe, you know, they're not at their absolute sort of best, and they haven't been for a little while. But man, they're still a really solid team, and like Sharks made them look like a bad team, and that's what great teams do. So yeah, man.
Probably the player that shined the most for the Sharks was Eden Hooker, because he was really good, and yeah, also this is part of the drama. If you think about last weekend, 2 times two times both Hendricks.
But they were silly kicks to miss as well. Like they were, you know, like 7. The first one was like 65 yards. He carried the ball like 70 yards. It just wasn't.
Yes,
they took advantage of the altitude, but it didn't work.
No, absolutely, and then the box kick, where then the cross kick for Kanamudi by Sebastian De Klerk.
He had such a good game. Yeah.
And I really rate him low in the general level of the wingers in South Africa. He was really good.
He was my man of the match, like by a country mile.
Absolutely, Mike. Absolutely.
Yeah. That was a lovely try though, wasn't it? Like inch perfect, right? I know. Obviously, you could say that was it Hendricks that fumbled the ball after they turned it over. He tries to kick it and he kicks it into like their hand. Like he kicks it like 2 yards. on the floor. They pick it up and then you do the crossfield kick.
But
I think from memory, right? You can say that's luck, but man, like that kick was nothing lucky about that kick. That was just
no, there was the idea, the purpose to kick there, because something can happen in that situation. You read the situation and you kick in the best way possible. In general, of course, we have always a good word in this case for the team that win, but Etanugar on one side was really good too, and he's showing maybe he's gonna play against us, Mike. Maybe he can be one of them, at least in one of the game. If there's gonna be these changes, probably there will be, but who knows, because he played 51 different players along all the season last year, Rassi Erasmus, and crazy. Yeah, like Norkia that played this weekend, he was the number 5 during the rugby championship and then out. Then somebody else came. Then some position are always the same, like Malcolm Marx is always
he's good
bench,
at
the bomb squad. Malcolm Marx is there usually, but still they have Kolbe always playing. It's interesting. I'm wondering how
Aka makes a good shout as well, Otto. Like I know he's not like a spring chicken, right? Like I know he's not young, but like if you want as a full like as a third or fourth choice hooker, I mean, man, there's like worse hookers to have than Aka van der Merwe on the hook.
Of course, if you think how good he's playing, for example, Grobbelaar now, no, or Jandrik Wessel, because those are players that can play also hooker, because Wessel can play prop and hooker. Then of course you have Grobbelaar that you can see the skills of a player that used to play back rower. So, but I think even like the huge rotation was already there. I think this year probably can be, you're saying huge, maybe more minutes of some players, at least at the beginning of the summer, because probably you will win anyway the Castellager series against Italy. That's, I think, is gonna happen. No matter
he's
what.
going to try new combinations, though, isn't he? But
he's going to try soon, because then he wants to win another rugby championship.
So I have a question for you, Otto. Like, and actually, it's just a general question. Like, when does camp start for Italy? Do you know? Top of your head.
Look, I want try to understand. Probably today, at least the coaching staff met again. I guess because I hear a couple of Instagram posts by Quesada saying. Yesterday, he was saying yesterday we were celebrating because the video analyst got married. Sorry, and now I think this week they start something like that. So probably they are now. It's 9th of June. The other team is already camping. You see the new jersey, the training jersey of the Springboks.
No, is it nice?
Yellow based. Let me see.
Or just as 2 fingers up to Australia. Is that why?
Not in gold. Not in gold. Let me see if there is there. I saw some yellow jersey. Never mind. I cannot find it easily now. No, I cannot. Maybe go look. I'm gonna send it to you because they were.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
Something like that.
Predictions for next week.
Mike, next week, I go with the Bulls next week.
Yeah, it's shown enough for you. Oh, man,
I go with the Bulls.
You know what? I'm on the fence, but I think they're going to be hurting enough to want to win. So I'm going to say Leinster next week.
Leinster next week.
It's close.
Close. No,
guys,
no.
let us know who you think. Just in the chat, just let us
know who will win this game. While you send us another message, dear Josh, I'm not going to ignore this game. Mike, it was a crazy game. I was hoping for. So I feel sad for Grenoble because still every time trying to go up. no chances to go as a first team without playing the barrage. Then the barrage is not the best for them. And Montauban, if I think like how they lose a couple of like Grenoble tap and go in the last 2 minutes of the game. 2 minutes of the game, there was the perfect platform to win the game, Mike.
Mhm.
Knock on from the prop and starting the tap and go.
I need to watch it. I've got to be honest. I haven't had the opportunity to. But so, is it a game worth watching? You're saying like
Yes, absolutely. Because there were like the beginning of the game, like there was. Let me see if you remember the name of like this player like years and years ago, Joshua Visi. Because I don't remember in which team was playing before. Montpellier. He played for Montpellier, but he's a
Right.
Fijian. He went to play in the US too, and he was great in the first half of this game. And then all the situation around the team because they were fighting. Oh, let's see. Let's pause this because Montalban went up and down like a crazy. And there was a Dimchev last year, Montalban, if I'm correct. Pablo Dimchev, our third hooker from the Italian Argentinian, going from last year being on point from relegation to winning in this year from 6th, beating third, second, and first place team. Yes, they went up and up. So the collapse of Brive, first of all, because they were not able with all those players. Think about Moriarty, Cartney-Laws, just two names into the team. And now they did it. Yes, what Josh is saying, just watch it because yes, fantastic. The rhythm of the game and then the comeback from Grenoble. The turning point was that knock on in the last 2 minutes, just 5-6 meters away out the scoring line. But that was crazy good.
Yeah, I'll definitely get back on that. I'll try and watch it. I saw about Vans. What's that going to mean for Stephen Varney? Do you think?
Stephen Varney has a contract with Exeter next season, which is always great.
Yeah,
if we think about him. But
I've got to be honest, I actually forgot about that. Good, thank God.
No, but it's good because like this way we can speak a little bit more about the injury, the situation into the Italian movement and Italian players. Because first of all, Capozzo ended this season with a bad injury on his leg. A player fell on him. We sent the video, I think, in our chat on WhatsApp. So he's out. He probably is going to be out at least 2 months until he can be able to walk again, and then
the rest. This is if it's a tibia fibia injury, mate. Like I think he'll probably be out for like 8. Oh, I don't know. Actually, pre-season he doesn't have to do too much. It's going to sound bad. It's going to sound really bad. It's the best time for it to have happened. Like that sounds bad because obviously, but I think he'll be back for the Six Nations.
Oh, at least on the national team side, yes. Only another kind of injury can stop him in the middle between next season and the Six Nation. So that's the situation there. Allan played really well in the victory of Perpignan against Toulon.
He played 10 or 15.
He played 10 in this game, but they will play against Grenoble. And this is the thing too. Why I was saying when you go play the barrage, the play off in this way, usually you don't get it. Because if we look at the last 10 years since they've been introduced, the top 14 team always won this kind of game. So I guess Perpignan against Grenoble is going to be interesting, but Perpignan seems to have Toulouse. Yes, sorry, Josh. Toulouse. I was thinking Toulon. I watched the game of Toulon because I watched Manonu and I watched Garbisi play 10. Mike, no good, no bueno the way I saw the playing Toulon. So I cannot tell you.
Manonu bad or Garbisi bad?
No, Manonu good. 56 minutes in, good. In the first minute and a half, he had to tackle 3 times. He was pretty good. In couple of hands, a couple of penalties, style, but in general, good. It's 43, Mike. Good. Garbisi,
Yeah, I know.
great tackle saving after a long run was really good what he did. But in general, when you think about attack, it's more Jaminet taking the ball as the 9. He wasn't like, yes, he passed the ball, but to be honest, if you put another player, whatever, a center there and playing like Garbisi in attack was the same. Just to let you tell how much he put into the way they moved. I don't know. I didn't like the way they were. I also was interesting into the Masi Paris, like the Italian duo.
Yeah.
But
So you're a bit concerned for next year for Toulon.
not more or less, yeah. Let's say Biarritz beat Bayonne. Let's see if it's. Just check and let me know if this is correct, because I remember generally always the other team goes up, but Bayonne that beat Toulon without Mori wasn't in the field, and Bayonne never lost a game home this season. Fantastic.
Oh, really?
Yes, and
Fortress.
Tuilagi injured open a space for Mori next weekend, which is great. We have
How long's
Kiko
what sort of
ready.
injury? Muscular.
No, kind of ribs look like. Maybe
Right.
more. For a week they hurts. So stay there. Let's play Mori.
Interesting.
Rampaging Mori there. So
Yeah.
those were some of the moves into the, let's say, the Italians abroad there. But Mike, the news were for Zibre. If we talk about Roberto Santamaria, new forward coach.
Yes. What are your thoughts on that, Otto?
Man, he's been around Brunello and Dolcetto for a long time, so it's really another good name. He knows everybody. I like the thing he said in the post by the Zebras, and thank you also to Emiliano Bergamaschi, the previous coach. So lovely to see this. Bergamaschi is gonna be with the
Auguri Adam.
next season, so it's gonna be interesting to see that. Ale, Adam, ciao. So there were some really good stuff, because that is interesting to see. Then the rumors and the confirmation of players with Zebra. With Zebra were more active in this moment. So the rumors are the Avaga brothers, probably if they're not going to Benetton, they will sign for Zebre, but everything is still there. Zebre signed officially Bertaccini from Valo Rugby. We saw him last season. He's one of the best. If we put the Opta stats of the season, I posted for the chat, but he's one of the best centers at the moment in general, actually, of Italian rugby through the Opta stats. Okay, if we read the Opta stats for minimum of 200 minutes played, he is really good. He's really win gain line carries, tackle evasion, and all of that. But Albert Einstein Batista, the relativity wing, we can call him.
The genius.
The genius. Il genio Batista. So
Mate,
Batista,
that's got to be his nickname. Like moving forward, let's just screw his name and just say the genius is playing.
The genius Batista. Former Colorno on a wing for a few years. He used to play with Jesse, with Simone Jesse, both wingers in Colorno, even when Odiase was there, if I'm right. So 3-4 years ago. And Mike, it's another call if we think about the organization of the Zebra in the back three. If we think about a player that is gonna be loyal to the contract, which is Fratelli, then you have to still adding more player, and in a way, probably, to be honest, maybe it was really cheap to sign him too, because if we think
for sure
how important it is for the federation
development, right,
to develop the team, so you put in a player of how is 23, 24 years old now to be ready and see what he can do, like Bertaccini. The better prospect or similar prospect, they can be there. With Belloni is the other one. So You have Prisciantelli. Let's say this season you start with Prisciantelli. You're gonna have Trulla, and you have Belloni. There on the right wing, you missed Gregory, so there is
You expecting Prisciantelli to stay? Like
this season. Man,
100%.
yes, he can be there. Oh,
Yeah. Do you think he will though?
I think for what he did for Zebra, how much the Zebra trusts in him, and in general also the federation. To be honest, for me, Prisciantelli can stay another season and then move. And there is the vedi un po' what I'm looking. Pani, Prisciantelli, Trulla, too many. Pani is the other one. Let's see how good is Pani. But in general, we're missing an option on the right wing and an option on the left wing, because if something happened to Jesse, you need somebody there. On the other side, Gregory is not in the team anymore, so Trulla can be one of the choices. And let's see what's going to happen there, Mike. He's
from memory, Banyu's got a left foot, hasn't he? He kicks with his left foot from memory, no?
Yeah, like a James Lowe style.
Perfect. Hey, perfect. Playing wing then. If like I don't personally see too many 15s as a problem, especially if they can play in other positions. That's fine by me, mate. I'd have more 15s than wingers all day long.
About Jesse Alessandro,
Yes.
the junior. There were a couple of rumors. Let me see.
He's looked good whilst you're looking for what you're saying. He's looked really good with the small opportunities he's been playing. Jesse Jr.'s been...
Jesse Jr., there are a couple of rumors. There are a couple of teams, I think was Val Rugby, interested into him. Let's see what can happen also as a permit, because you're going to have some players, they're going to be exposed to another level, and maybe they're going to train during the week with Parma, with Zebre, and then they're going to play around. That's why I want to understand what is going to happen with the youngster academy from Parma, like Brisighella. What can happen with him? With Faisal, that has the youngster that has to be exposed to another level, a really good under 18, under 20 now Italian player, and see how they're gonna use those two plus Jesse. So those players too, and Belloni. Yes, Belloni confirmed. The brother, the other Belloni has been confirmed that. Oh my God, Rovigo, I think, as a center. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they're gonna
ship all the rest to the Pro D2. Get the federation to sort out an agreement with one of the Pro D2 teams.
Get an under 23 tournament that brings money. Then they play before the game of Treviso or Zebre, whatever. Make one team, make two teams, but put franchise with under 23.
Always the problem. Always. But
the money.
Ireland and Scotland said they were keen on doing this, even if the Welsh teams weren't, and the Welsh teams weren't. But I don't see any problem getting the under 23 team do a 5 or 6 game tournament with the 2 franchises, the 2 Italian franchises, the 2 Scottish franchises, and the 4 provinces in the Aviva. Just plays all in the Aviva and just share the money. Like share the money so that it's breaking even. Even if it just breaks even, who cares? Like just always.
Or something, because those players need. On the other side, for example, on Treviso side now. First of all, have you seen who is the manager? Like one of the organizer of the Benetton camp, Rugby camp, Sam Hidalgo Klein.
He's back. He sniffed a payday and he's come back, has he?
He's there. He's fantastic. So look at him. That's where he is now.
Long hair, short hair, tanned.
More than me. Beautiful, better than me. That's how
him and Thingy loving life. I think him and what's his name? Tiziano Pasquale loving life, just fucking sitting there, eating their food, going on cycles, having little romantic dinners.
Lovely. So there is that, but So Casertelli, Miranda, now Marini and Meggiato, they will be part of the team with Benetton next year. Great. And Luisato, David Luisato was the youngster, now under 18, Italian under 18 Benetton player, was the best player during the Gorizia 7, where Italy show up with two teams.
Yeah.
And
How do
Benetton
we get on?
there, I watched a couple of games. I thought the level was really low, actually. But
Right.
in general of the competition, so what I have to say, nice to see them play, but nothing else.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yes,
Cristiano
I know how to play
Tizzano can
Briscola.
happen. And yes, Mike played Briscola. Do you play 3-7 too, Mike?
Yes.
Love
Yeah. But like, there's the like we know like, that's what you do when you go to Italy, right?
Of course.
Tizzano, what we saying
Tiziano
then?
Cristiano. I don't have any news, but I know Lorenzo Casilio is leaving Mogliano with a lot of other players because, of course, they signed Treviso signed Jalin Kinji, but him. So Tiziano, they didn't say anything about it. So in theory, should be just Benetton bound. But for Casilio, no idea. Casilio, no idea if he's gonna play somewhere.
Yeah, I mean that'd be a shame, wouldn't it? But also, like, he has ties to England, so like it'd be interesting to see if he actually, because obviously he was Wasps Academy.
Yes, but years ago, I don't know where he's gonna go play. That's the point.
He played at county level as well.
Sadly, another Italian player seems like to retire this season, which is Mattia Ferrarin, the youngster.
Oh, really?
Yes, there were rumors about his leaving rugby. So it's another one, like Rubinato.
We need to find a way of keeping these players. Okay. But it is what it is for now. But Capozzo, we said that, and now, Mike, I think other players, other rumors. Let's see what's gonna happen to Yakizzi. To be honest, because I saw today with the pictures on with he was with Lamaro, but we don't know anything about him. And then let's see what other rumors. I don't know, but I'm expecting a good shout by Treviso. Think a big signing.
Something is. I don't know, but I have this feeling somebody will be signed. Oh, and Fetuli Paiatu Dragons, Mike. Paiatu Dragons.
Yeah. Shame to see him go, but good for him.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll lose 4 games next year against the Italians. Colorno. Grazie, Josh. I don't know why I was thinking Valo Rugby. De Villiers to Valo Rugby. The young De Villiers was in Viadana. He will play to Valo Rugby. Good for him. All this player needs to play, but of course we need to expose it to an highest level of rugby.
Yes.
More to say, Mike, about that.
So one last thing before we wrap up. So who do you think? Where do you think this big signing from Treviso is going to be? What position? If you had to guess, is it going to be someone covering Brex now that he's leaving, or you think they're quite happy with what they've got?
So I'm thinking, I don't know why, but I'm thinking a center. Okay.
And, not Italian?
Even not Italian.
So you don't think Mori fancies playing?
No, Mori no, but in general, I'm thinking one signing there, and hey, if it happened that Albornoz has to leave, one of them, it's okay for me. So we're gonna see somebody else playing too in that position.
That's a shout by Josh, by the way.
Boffelli, good call. Yeah. But it seems like they have a lot of numbers now out. If you think about the back three, Josh, because Ratave, Laina, Godogu, Gallagher, Rhino Smith, Mendy. So you have 6 position covered, plus Menoncello, plus utility Marine. But for me, if one of them Albornoz Umaga leave, I'm okay if there is another player coming strongly in the conversation. If not,
Who
I'm
do
okay.
you, who would you like to see it then? Like, it's not who you expect. Who would you like to see?
Man,
McGinty,
who?
McGinty, AJ, bit of AJ.
A 10. A 10.
At
No,
10,
no,
yeah, 10, 10,
no. No, a 10. Get Marin Umaga, get Marin Alba. Let's get those two and go with them. I think more than everything with
So
those two.
no signings to cover a 10 moving.
No. For me, no.
Okay.
Now there are three. Now there are three. Of course, if you take one out, but you have two fullbacks next year.
We need
We
another
need
9.
another
Yes,
9.
Adam.
That
Yes, Adam.
9, another 9. That's true. That's true.
Okay, question then. Same question.
Oh,
Not
fuck
who you expect. Who would you want? 9. Go. Anyone.
As a 9, I have to look for a 9 around.
Yeah. On the spot. Italian qualified. Go.
No, Italian qualified. No, Italian qualified is starting. Well done. So if Tiziano come in as a third one, but I would like to see him. Hopefully, we will see him. You know what I mean? It's not going to be idle like
actual game time.
like Casilio, 5 minutes in 3 years, stuff like that.
Josh, get
Albanese is not there, so
Just get out,
no
Josh.
Albanese. But a 9, him. But man, a 9 like Engelfield would be good. The red, our ginger would be a good signing from there. Oh, Rouet, the 9 of Bayonne, I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Let's bring French players in Italy. Since
I was gonna say maybe
yeah.
For me, I was gonna say maybe a Kiwi 9, just because they are like typically the better 9s. Just get that, and Welsh 9s always been sort of top tier. But
you know who leaves the club? Joshua Renton. He left Valorant
really?
this season.
Jeez.
Like now, 2 weeks ago, last week when they did the farewell for the team. Yes, Joshua Renton out.
Wow. Wow, what are you saying, mate?
Not to say, but one thing about this sign, like, come on, let's bring Freddie Clark to Zebra. Freddie Clark to Zebra, man, is the man. If they
Love
need
it.
a lock, experienced lock, Freddie Clark, free.
Not Josh Oven. Getting to dust off his you just said Marnon, who's good at 42. Like, just let Josh Oven have a give a go. Just let him have a little play. Maybe Paris.
Tebaldi Lastran, my god. This is
Garcia.
Garcia to Benetton, Casilio to Zebre. Mike,
Nice.
who's is?
I mean, I'd prefer Tiziano.
Sorry, Josh. But no. Okay, let's fantasy rugby. Garcia goes to Benetton. Casilio goes to Zebre. Zebre needs another 9. Who is the third 9? Dominguez. You go with Dominguez, third 9. Jelic is out. Those 3. Tiziano. Okay. Well, Mike, we are here, and we will know soon how it's going with the market, because maybe something will change in the next weeks. Hopefully for the
best. It needs to, right? It needs to. I know, obviously, we're having a bit of fun speculating here, but what behind the jokes? There's the fact that we need to start planning for next season. We want Zebre to be, pushing for playoffs next season, and to do that, they need to have like the right players, and to have the right players, they need to make some smart signings now, because they need to do it during preseason.
Which money? Who knows? But yes,
right.
Tom Monk is going to be that. Speculation time.
Yep.
Mike, thank you, Adam, thank you, Josh, and all our Fratelli Rugby in chat with us tonight. See you next week. We're gonna comment a final, maybe some transfer move more, and that's it for today. Listen and give a like and subscribe to Fratelli Rugby Podcast on X, Instagram, YouTube, and wherever you want. Mike, buonanotte.
Ciao.
Ciao a tutti. Let's go. Ale.